Okay. I had this beautiful jacket, and it's one of my favorites, and it's red. Can you hear me? Let's always start with that. And the zipper broke. So it zips up and it has like little like seriously. Is it Monday? How come it feels like a Monday? So anyway, good morning, Kathy. Hey Maria, I'm sorry it's so cold where you are. Hey Amy, good morning, Carrie Ann. Basically, amazing news this month for Cappuccino members. Wait a minute, let me move this. Yep, good. Thank you, Maria. Um, I have new software, and one of the things that we're doing in 2021 is very often, hopefully monthly, we're aiming for monthly, we may start quarterly, is having online summits for women. And it's always been my goal to be the number one resource for women to go to for self improvement and to feel good about themselves from the inside out. So we want to start doing monthly summits for women to be able to attend to, just to do self improvement, just hear different speakers and that kind of stuff. So the software I have purchased allows us to have like a conference experience virtually. So we will have sponsors. There will be, and you know how when you go to a conference, not only do you meet people, you get to wander around, and then if a speaker, you could, after a speaker speaks, you can talk to them privately in the back of the room. And then during breaks, you can wander around, and then there's vendor booths, and you go purchase things and that type of thing. We are able to bring all of that to you. I'm so excited. It's not cheap software, but I think it's going to be really, really worth it. So what we're going to be able to do is, hey, Jocelyn, Joanne, Patty, Lisa, good. Yeah, so what, I love summits too, Joanne. So what we're going to be able to do is have a main stage, so you'll be able to hear a speaker, and then we'll do breakout sections. That's how we're going to start. And then you'll be able to get into a private room on camera with this person, not just typing and asking questions, but you'll be able to like raise your hand and get on camera with them. And then it's like, here, let me show you my desktop. And then you'll be able to show your desktop. And then in the future, what we'll do is we'll have a main stage keynote type speaker and then breakout sessions. So you'll have different speakers that you'll be able to the first session, like A block, you'll have three speakers to choose from. And you could go into smaller groups and be with them at their table. So there's these little tables that you can go to. And then during breaks, I can't give you food. I can't give you back rubs and massages and things like that, which we were doing at our live events. But you'll be able to network. So then you can go into a networking room, and it's like speed dating. There's speed networking. So you'll be able to go into the networking area, and then it will pair you up with somebody. And then you'll have a couple of minutes. It's a timed thing, like 5 minutes, and you'll have you talk about myself for a minute, you talk about yourself for a minute, and then we can see how can we work together, exchange information, and then you check out of that one, and then you kind of move to the next table in speed dating. It's speed networking. So you'll be able to network with people there at the same event. So, and the same thing, like on a webinar where you have the chat room, the chat area where you can ask questions over there, that will be for main stage and that type of thing. But the ability to do the networking, to have sponsor booths, to have things that you can purchase there, to be able to get into, hey Liz, to be able to get into small groups and ask questions, even to share, like get on camera and ask questions of the person, even to share your desktop and show them something off of your desktop, for example. It's just nothing like anybody else is doing. So, I mean, there's bits and pieces, COVID remnants. There's bits and pieces of that some people do, and we have really good webinar technology, and the webinars will continue. But our ability to bring you multiple speakers and for you to get on camera and able to ask these people questions is unique, as is the networking. Isn't it though, Joanne? I'm on fire too. Yeah, we'll chat. So anyway, so also we've got the Style Academy launching this month. And oh, so what I was going to say is we're going to test out, I want to be able to test out this software, make sure I get all the bugs out and everything before we do a real big one. So Cappuccino members this month, guess what you get? You're going to be testing out the software with us as we have a guest speaker come in and speak to you and you alone. And it's just an exclusive thing for Cappuccino members. So if you are not, I had COVID months ago. Yeah. I'm sure it'll hit that on my teeth. Yes, yeah. So that's why right now I'm getting a bit of a cough. So yeah, it's going to be super, super, super exciting. So if you aren't a Cappuccino member yet, make sure you join us in the Cafe Club. The link should be included in the show notes below. So yeah, make sure you join us because we've got some amazing things coming up for cappuccinos that will only be for the Cappuccino members, and then some of the summits and, but anyway, so this month I've got 2 guest speakers lined up, and we're both trying to figure out the correct date for our Cappuccino bonus this month. So one of them is going to be my friend who's a psychiatrist and talk about boundaries. There's our timer. It went out. So I got it. We'll talk about that later. So anyway, today we're going to talk about first impressions because the Style Academy is coming out in a couple of weeks. So, but today we're talking about not just clothing and stuff, but we're going to talk about how to make a good first impression. All right. So let me fade to black. And matter of fact, I'm just going to put that title slide up and make sure we're good to go on that. Get my notes up. Where did my notes go? And we'll get started. You only have a couple of seconds to make a good first impression. And there's 3 rules that you need to master. So if making a good first impression is important to you, this Coffee with Colleen is for you. Good morning and welcome to Coffee with Colleen. If this is your first time joining us, my name is Colleen Hammond. I'm a former on-camera meteorologist for the Weather Channel, turned image consultant, coach, and mentor. I just figured out that once women really nailed their style and knew how easy it was, their confidence grew and they could walk out of the house every single solitary day knowing that what they were wearing not only made them feel good, but made them look good as well. So if looking and good and self-improvement from the inside out is something that appeals to you, make sure you hit that subscribe button and click the bell if you're watching this on YouTube, which I hope you are, and we will make sure that you take advantage of that every week. So let's talk about first impressions, because they say that you only have less than 7 seconds to make a good first impression. And frankly, the trustworthiness is determined in 0.2 of a second. So 0.2 of a second, less than 1 second. Somebody will just glance at you and get a gut reaction. And we all do it. We're not judging, we're assessing based on our past experiences. And we really do have this subtle knowledge of body language that we just, gosh, I don't know what it is about them, but I think they're lying. And when you learn to identify like the little keys of what they are lying or how their body responds when they're lying, then you know what to look for, but sometimes you just go with your gut. So 97% of people do not change their first impressions of somebody once they've made them. So making a good first impression is very important. And to help you make it more often, there's 3 basic rules. I mean, there's more than this, but these are the 3 core pillars, if you will, of your tripod that you want to master to make a good impression. And the first one is to dress to impress. You have to pay attention to what you're wearing. It may seem superficial, and people will say, well, I don't care what other people think about me. Fine. Then the next time you go out, if you're conservative, if you normally wear a blue jacket and, right? The next time you go out, what we're going to do is we're going to spike your hair into a mohawk and make it purple. And then we're going to put you in leather and chains and stiletto high heels that are Louis Vuitton with the red. And then, so if you're like, I'm not going to wear that, that's not who I am, then you do care about what other people think about you. So it's interesting. I am developing a small course for my personal branding on our public persona. And I've been doing a lot of studying, and I interviewed a specialist in public personas the other day, and the information he gave me was, he went through a list of things like this. Yes, everybody cares. Everybody cares. You know, do you iron your clothes? Do you wash your clothes? Do you wear perfume? Do you wear makeup? Do you brush your hair before, you know, there's so many things that we do that if we didn't do them, pardon me, we would feel out of sorts. So when you are wanting to make a good first impression, for example, if you're going in for a job interview, if you're meeting the in-laws for the first time, if you're online dating, if you want to get a promotion, then when you're dressing, you want to overdress just a little bit. It's better to be the best dressed person in the room than the least dressed person in the room, if you know what I mean. So make sure that what you're wearing is neat and flattering. It's your right color. It's the color that you should wear depending on the message that you want to send. And for example, I was working with a client yesterday, and she was going in for an interview and was going to wear blue. And we basically went down and said, okay, what's the job for? What do you be doing? Who is interviewing you? What are the names of the people that are, you know, so we went through the whole thing, and I went, no, the best color for you to wear is red. So she ended up wearing a red blazer, a red jacket, and we, you know, styled her that way, and she got the job. And one of the things that the gentleman that was interviewing her said was, I was so impressed that you were confident enough to wear red. Everybody else came in blue. So the fact that, you know, the job she was going for, the people she was interviewing with, her personality, there were so many things that went into that decision. So sometimes the color you wear is based on circumstance as opposed to this is the best color for me type of thing. I had another client that her job was an international sales trainer, and she had had her colors done, and they told her the best color for her was pale yellow. So that's the color she was wearing. So yeah, she may have looked good in pale yellow, but when she was on stage, when she was teaching, when she was instructing, that is not a good color for a sales trainer to be wearing. So, you know, she was up there in a yellow dress, you know, so we went through and she was very angry with me at first. I have had my colors done. These are my best colors. I said, yes, but this is the impression that that color is sending. And so we went through that. So sometimes the best color for you to wear, for your complexion, for your hair, your eyes, your skin, is not the best color for you to wear in a particular situation. So we can go through and pick out some of those different things. But in general, blue is one of the colors that you're going to wear that's going to make you look honest, trustworthy, a little bit more conservative, if that's the message you're wanting to send. Glasses are always a good option. And there's more information in the 7 judgments that people make about you in 7 seconds. The link to that is in the show notes. Number 2, pardon me, kind of left over from the flu. Another important thing is to be on time. First of all, you're respecting other people by respecting their time. So, for example, when I do webinars and when I do trainings, when I say it's going to start at 8 o'clock, I really focus on aiming at 8 o'clock. First of all, your word is your bond. So it says that you're trustworthy and reliable. But second of all, I like to honor the people that made the effort to be there on time. So it's like fingernails on a chalkboard, if you know what that sound is. It's very irritating to me when I make an effort to be someplace on time and the person who's running the meeting says, you know what, let's wait 10 minutes for people to get here. No, I made the effort to get here. Let's start on time, because you're just teaching people not to respect you and not to respect your time by, you know, so if this person does it all the time, I'm like, fine, next week I won't make an effort to be here at 11 a.m. because I know she's not going to start the meeting until 10 after. So I'll get here at 10 after. You know, so you're training people to not respect you and not to respect your time. So the first group of people in the world really are sticklers for time. And it's a real pet peeve for them when people are not on time. The other group of people are very open and flexible about time, and they don't care. They don't care if you're late a couple of minutes. They don't care if you're early a couple of minutes. So if you know that most of the people, like let's say half the people are sticklers on time and it matters to them, and then the other people, it really doesn't matter. If you're going to be late, you're going to automatically make the people who are sticklers for time not like you. But if you make that effort to be on time, the people who are sticklers for time will like you, and the people who don't care about time will like you. So you double your chances of making a good impression on most people. So because you don't know which person you're going to meet, right? And the third thing to keep in mind, think before you speak. And one of the people I have lined up to interview is a gentleman by the name of Chris Voss. He wrote a book called Never Split the Difference. He has a course on masterclass on negotiation. He was a former FBI hostage negotiator, worked with terrorist situations and that type of thing. Now he has his own company called the Black Swan Group. And one of the things that he teaches is asking questions, but what kind of questions to ask. So here's the little trick. I won't go through all 16 of his methods and whatnot. I'll just give you the first one. And he calls it mirroring, but if you know anything about NLP and matching and mirroring, it's not your body, it's the words. So if someone says, gosh, it's just really irritating to me when you pull up to a red light and the person doesn't go when the light turns green. What you do is you repeat back the last 2 or 3 words that they said. When the light turns green? Yeah, you know what I mean? Like when the light turns green and they're still sitting there. It's just like, why aren't they moving? They really need to get going. They need to get going. Yes, because, and so one of the things to do is just, and I've done this before, and Chris Voss gives the example of one of his clients that went to a yoga retreat, and he didn't want to be there with his wife, but he agreed to go. But all he did was mirror people all 3 days. And he just repeated the last couple of words. And the women were coming up to his wife saying, he was the most fascinating person I've ever met. He never said anything. He just repeated back those questions, just asked people questions. But it really wasn't saying, so tell me about this or tell me about that. He just repeated back the last couple of words that they had said. So what does that do? That says, oh, he's listening to me. He actually, because they're repeating back the words that I say, but it also, it encourages the person to expound a little bit more on what they're saying. So you don't have to be the entertainment committee. Matter of fact, when you just listen and ask questions, it makes you look more appealing and more fascinating. So those are the 3 most important things that you want to focus on, those 3 pillars. And again, like I said, there's many, many more, but those are the 3 most important things you want to focus on. Number 1, your first impression is based on how you are dressed. So making sure that the colors that you're wearing are appealing and send the message you want to send, making sure your fit is proper and your clothing has been tailored, making sure that nothing's wrinkled, nothing's stained, that your hair and makeup, if you're wearing makeup, is on point. So get your physical first impression on point. Number 2 is being on time. By respecting the time, you're going to have twice the chance of impressing everybody that's there. And number 3 is to think before you speak. Can you ask a question instead? And by not trying to impress them with your knowledge or your humor or that type of thing, actually people love to be listened to. So by asking questions and listening to people, you have a greater chance of impressing them and making a good first impression. I hope those tips were helpful for you. Now get out there and make a great first impression, and we'll see you next time. All righty. I actually had a list of 8, and I thought, you know what? I'm not doing 8. I'm doing 3. Excuse me. It is Advent, isn't it? First week of Advent. So, woo, sorry. This cough is getting worse. I do not like that. So yeah, so what was I saying before? I wanted to make sure I started on time. Oh yeah, so we have the software, and so we're going to be this month. Um, if you were listening, you may have caught the name of one of the people that might be our guest speaker this month. Yeah, I like a good round number too, don't you? Raising the Reaps. You gotta tell me more about that name. Good morning. Hey, Minette, I didn't see you sneak in. Um, so yeah, if you were listening, the name dropped. That's one of our guest speakers. Also, we're going to be talking about boundaries. I have a psychiatrist friend of mine that's going to come in and discuss boundaries. So that's just how we're going to be testing out this new software this month for Cappuccino members. So, pardon me. Let me get a drink. Um, One on the way. Yes. Congratulations. When's the baby due? Love babies. Hey, good morning, Heather. So we had an amazing Black Friday sale, and I wasn't really going to do a Cyber Monday sale, but so many people emailed and said, "Oh my gosh, I was out of town, for Thanksgiving, or I didn't check my email over Thanksgiving and missed the sale, blah, blah, blah." So we ended up doing a Cyber Monday sale. And then I got emails on Tuesday. "It's Giving Tuesday. Can you extend the sale?" And I was like, oh my gosh. So I discussed it with my business manager, and he's like, "No, the amount of time and effort that we'd have to go back and do those changes and do the software and do this and that, So he was right. I ended up just sending out them private links to people who missed the sale and wanted to buy something. I'm like, "Here's the link, just buy it." I know what it's like. I like a good deal. I like to get a sale. So anyway, Amy said, "I can't stand when people mirror what I say. Questions are okay, but I prefer it to be an exchange. I always think people are pumping me for information if they ask too many questions in a row." And that's one of the things that Chris talks about. Then there's a thing called labeling, where when people are saying something, you say, "Sounds to me like you're a very caring person." Or you say, if you said something like, "People are pumping me information if they ask too many questions." Sounds to me like you've been burned before. So he teaches a second method. I think there's 16. Their second method is what he calls labeling. So when you do a positive label, it makes people like you more. And when you do a negative label, it disarms people and it helps them relax because they think, "Gosh, am I really being that way?" So there's tons of different ways that you can do it. But this one guy was just, because I feel the same way, Amy. I'm like, contribute to the conversation, please. Otherwise, it makes me a little suspicious about you. Due in July. That's my birthday month. So then there's labeling, and then there's words to avoid. And, so he goes through this whole thing. So I have gone through his course 5 times now. It is one of the most powerful communication skill courses that I've ever taken. And it really shed light on some things that other people had taught me. For example, in a sales situation, I was taught years and years and years ago, I don't know if it was Tom Watson or Zig Ziglar or what, Brian Tracy, or what course I went through at the time, what I'm hearing you say is, and Chris explains how damaging that can be because you use the word "I." And so, especially if you're, for example, in a sales situation, it's like they don't care about me. They're talking about themselves. What I hear you saying is, as opposed to, sounds like blah, 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 blah. So it's pretty cool. Hey, Sherry, good morning. Pardon me. Gracious. Hey, Sherry, tell us about Cowgirl's 2-year-old. Is Kim here? Kim's not here. There's an echo? Okay. There shouldn't be an echo now. I have, when I do that the opening montage with the coffee cup that says Coffee with Colleen, I have to have another microphone open so that you can hear the audio that goes along with that video. and I forgot to turn it off. So hopefully that should be, that should have gotten rid of the echo. So thanks for letting me know, Kathy. But anyway, so he talks about, Chris Voss talks about in this training, different words to avoid. Like you never want to ask the word why. Well, Simon Sinek always says you know, develop your why. You have to know your why. But in a sales situation, you're always looking for somebody else's why. But you never use that word. So there's so many things in Chris's course that are just so powerful for human relationships. And a lot of what I learned from him, you know, how I said, I don't know if you saw on the Black Friday sale in the video that I did for that we are totally revamping the emotional intelligence. We're totally revamping the four temperaments courses. We're also redoing the autopilot course. We're redoing everything pretty much, slowly and surely, one by one. First thing we're working on right now is the Style Academy, of course, which is about a third done, I think. So we're going to be doing soft launch in 2 weeks, and then the full launch will be done in January. So a lot of what I'm learning from Chris and what I've learned over the past few years are going to be incorporated into all of the courses as we update them. So Chris's information has really, really, really changed, and I'm trying to learn and apply all the different methods that I learned from him, which is why I keep going back and watching the course. I'm like, okay, I got that one. Okay, I've got that one. Okay, I've got that one. Now I'm going to work on this one. Because the information is just stuck, is just so powerful. Okay. All gone. Good. Suspicious by nature. I imagine someone skilled at conversation tactics works, and the beginner not so much. True. Yeah, because I've done it with my daughters when I get together with my daughters and they want to talk. I don't offer advice. Matter of fact, I was up until the wee hours in the morning a few nights ago with my girls talking about some pretty deep and heavy subjects. And I used a lot of his techniques. And finally, about 3.5 hours in, my one daughter said, I really wanted your advice. I went, okay, what do you want my advice on? I'm more than happy to give you my advice. So Sherry, we had about 5 phone calls on his sister. It was so nice for the Sayers Farm to run that blurb about him. No kidding. He was the first colt out of the crop to win. Really? Oh, the rest have been fillies. Okay. Yeah, my sister breeds thoroughbred horses. My sister Sherry in the comments over on Facebook. And her 2-year-old out of one of her mares just won at Churchill Downs, was it? It was just like a massive, huge race. So yeah, she, as the breeder, got mentioned in the little blurb about the race and the horse, and that she has it's a full-blooded sister, right? So it's the same dam and sire is all I can think of, the same mare and the same stallion. So, yeah, it was super, super cool, super exciting. Yeah. So anyway, but, what am I going to take? Anyway, so we got the Style Academy coming up. So make sure that you're on my email list for that. Talked to my business manager again last night, I think it was. We had to push it out a couple of days. We were looking to go in 2 weeks, and now it looks like it might be 2.5, maybe 3 weeks that we'll be doing the soft launch. It'll be just before Christmas, and you're going to want to be in on that because the program's not ready. So as part of the soft launch, you'll get the program. You're just going to get it because it sells for $2,000. It sells for $2,000. The price that it's going to be launched, the discounted price that's going to be launched for in January, is higher than the price we're doing in the soft launch this month. But there is zero advertising, so it's only for people who hear about it, who are on my email list, who sign up for it, that type of thing. Because the entire course is not completely updated yet, and there's things that we're still working on, but we wanted to do kind of a test run. Do we have all the emails written that we need written? Do we have all the slides done for the presentations? Do we have all the videos for this process that we want done? So we're not really worried about the product itself. The product, by the time we launch in January, the product will be completely finished and all the videos will be edited. Had to find a new editor because my editor and his entire family are down with the flu. So 26 in Florida. I think it is, what is it here now? It is not even that cold here in Texas. But anyway, so yeah, so we're 46 here. Jeez. You're further south than me. And you're in, oh my gosh, 26. Dying. But so really what we're doing is in this test launch is testing all the emails, testing the videos, make sure the video works, make sure the software you were using doesn't have the bugs, making sure all of our CRM has all the triggers in it for the CTAs and blah, 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 all that kind of stuff, all those acronyms. So that's what the soft launch is for, but we want people there at the soft launch to make sure that when they take certain actions that they get the right email. Because if somebody watches a video, we can say, hey, you watched the video, but it didn't seem right for you. So why, and so we can just ask questions and see what's working and what's not working before we start pouring money into advertising in January for the official launch. So as kind of our pardon our mess for the soft launch in a few weeks, the price will be lower than it will be in January. So you're going to want to be in on that. 33 in Mississippi. These are the days I stay indoors. We were so windy the other morning. I think it was 29 and super cold and windy. That's 29 Fahrenheit, so below zero C. So I think what's that, 2 below zero centigrade. But I just stayed in. I'm not even going out. I don't even want to be out in this. So anyway, all right, so we're going to wrap it up and head on out of here. I've got an interview to do at the top of the hour. Oh, I am a featured speaker. I am right after the keynote speaker tomorrow morning on a women's conference in Canada. So very, very excited about that. I'll put the link in the show notes to that too. I've got so many tabs open. I'm afraid to touch anything. I'm afraid it'll pop me off air. But I am a speaker for tomorrow at a special conference put on by, I think it's like the Canadian Small Business Association or something like that. So I'm one of 14 speakers, I think. But I have my own time slot. So pretty excited about that. Great email follow-up. Good. I'm in the sticks. The internet is sketchy. Yeah. 28 in Detroit. So 28 in Detroit, 26 in Florida. That's crazy. And I might be coming to Detroit in a few weeks, Kathy. Depending on your governor. If she shuts the state down, I won't be coming. I've got some things to pick up. So anyway, all right. So make sure that you are on my email list. I will, right after I get off the air, I will quickly go in and put these links in. I've got an interview coming up at the top of the hour, so I have to do shots of whiskey or something to clear out my throat. I don't know what I'm going to do. It's 8:30 in the morning for me, but I have to clear my throat out sometime as I keep coughing. So I'll put those links in, and then I've got that interview that I have to prep for at 9 o'clock. Then I have another interview, I think, at 11. I've got a call with my marketing director at 3 o'clock. She's up in Sault Ste. Marie, Canada. So I'll be talking to her at 3 o'clock this afternoon. So super busy day. And frost. That's even worse. I feel sorry for the people. I went out yesterday and the people in the parking lot had frost on their windows, but I have covered parking where I'm at. So no frost on my windows. Anyway, so that's it for today. Excuse me. Thanks for joining us, and we will see you next week. Let me go get those links and put them in there. All right, take care. God bless. Bye.